Welcome back to Blender in Motion. Today we're going to be making fireworks and let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click A on the keyboard and we're going to click X and let's delete everything on our scene. Uh, let's add in the first mesh, which would be the UV sphere, which is going to be holding our particles. And let's give that some particles. So let's go into the particle system in the modify tab and let's click that. Then let's go into the particle properties and let's click that too. And now we have a huge bunch of stuff that we can play with. So let's play this and see what's happening. So we have some action already. But as you can see, the particles are falling onto the ground, and our mission is to create something like fireworks, which is not going to be falling on the ground. It needs to explode. So let's go into the frame start and frame end. So we're going to have the frame end at frame 2. We're going to leave the lifetime at 50 and let's increase this, or I'm sure we will, but let's increase it now to 1. Let's go into the velocity. Let's make that 30. This is going to show how fast the explosion will occur. So as you can see, once I did that, it's like boom, but it's still falling to the ground, which still looks cool, but we don't want it to do that. So let's sort that out first. Okay, so in order to sort that out, we have to go into gravity. Gravity is the thing that's bringing it to the ground. So let's decrease the gravity to maybe about 0.2. I don't know, you could make it 0, but let's test it out. Let's leave that at 0.34. So now if we, as you can see, if we do some exploding, but it's exploding at a very fast rate. Okay, so what else do we need to do now? Let's maybe go into the physics of it, right? The physics that we can play around here is the erratic particle movement of it. So let's try 100. And what is that's kind of affecting the movement of the particle. Let's keep the drag to 0.20 and let's keep the damp to 0.1. Again, I mean, you can play around with these as you like, but as you can see, it's kind of now what we are looking for, right? So it's like an explosion, and let's now play around with that field weight. Let's see. Let's just increase it a bit. I mean, you can do as you like. Um, 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 Maybe let's go now. Yes. So yes, now what we have to do is we have the particle mesh sphere we have right here set out. Now that that particle system needs an emitter. So let's create an emitter. That's what's going to give us the color of the particles that's going to explode. So let's say Shift A and let's add an icosphere. So there's the icosphere right there. Okay. And what we have to do is we can go to now our sphere and let's first make that object, the render object, right? The render meaning the object of the particle system, make it an object. So not halo but object, and take this pen and select that icosphere. Now we've selected it, so the information from that particle that emitter would be the information that's going to be transferred to the particle sphere. So basically, whatever it does, it's going to do onto the sphere. So let's left click the new, and let's click emission. So we want it to be bright. So that would be emission, and let's make it blue. And obviously, let's go into this render tab. You can either click the shortcut key, which I like to do. I always like using shortcut keys, just it makes things more efficient, you know. But you can click Z and then click rendered, or you can go on the top here. So 100, let's make it 100. So now we have a lot of emission, but there's nothing showing. It's not a blue color. That's because we haven't clicked bloom. So let's go into the render properties and let's click bloom. And now if we play, we see the fireworks explosion. So that's cool. That is cool. So it's now what we have to do is we have to go into our sphere, and let's just see if we can change some other things here. Uh, let's increase the seed to about 3, and let's increase the number of particles to a little bit more. So now it looks much cooler with the more particles. Okay, lifetime randomness, let's make that 0. Okay, let's see let's leave that as 1. um 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 I'm gonna leave that velocity there. Let's increase the scale. Let's make that 2 maybe. Or you can actually do it whatever suits you, you know. 0.1. 3.1 looks good. And then also, if you want to decrease the scale, you can also decrease it with the microsphere. So that's basically the effect that we're looking for. And yeah, so now the only issue is we would like to create another color. So that's simple to do. All you have to do is basically do the same thing all the time, but I'm just going to show you the first variation in color, and then you can duplicate it again and do the same thing. So what you're going to do is, let's create that second one. So we have to click Shift D, and we created the duplicate. And let's also create a duplicate of the emitter, the icosphere. I should actually rename this because it might be confusing. So sphere 1, I mean 001, which is the second one. If you play both, they're gonna emit the same. Actually, you know what? I have to delete. Let me delete this. Okay. And before I forget, let me bake. I don't think I forgot. I forgot to bake these. So that was the last step. Yeah. So let's bake all of these before we do that. So that, and let's click Shift D, and let's go into our particle settings, and let's create a duplicate particle system. And then we need to select the second icosphere. We go down to our object render, and let's click icosphere 001, and then let's go to icosphere 001. Let's change this material. Let's create a new material here by clicking this tab, and as you can see, now there's two different colors. So that's kind of cool. And let's just move these two like there. Let's add a camera. Let's also bake this one into our scene, and bake all dynamics. So now it's baked into our scene, and let's add a camera. Oh, let's add a camera. Yeah, let's add a camera. So camera is there. Yeah, I like it here. So I went into front orthographic view by clicking numpad 1, and let's press Control Alt numpad 0, and now we have it in our scene. Before we do that, we can pick these as well. Let's go to motion blur. Let's increase the shutter to 2, let's see, and let's increase the max blur to 64. Let's make it 10. Yeah, that's looking good. And let's go into film. Oh, sorry, color management. Let's change that to standard and high contrast, and we get that effect. And we need to hide these. So let's go to the first one, and let's click. And also remember, this is rendered in our scene, so let's click. I don't think it gets rendered in the scene. Let's see. Yes, okay. So we click that and that and that, that and that. Okay, but let's see. It's still in our scene. Okay, it's still in our scene. So let's render the image. Change this to black. Yeah, so if you change it to black, we won't see. So basically, that's how you do a firework um, effect And the last step would be then to render it. You could change this to ffmpeg. You could put your output there. Encoding is mpeg. Go to color management. Click high quality, like, and then click render, and you're done. Oh, and if you want to change the end time so it doesn't go for ages, you can make it till your scene depletes, which is 40 or 55, or maybe just make it 60. And now you have your fireworks. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something and hope have a good 2024. Bye.